Hare Krishna. Devotees are sometimes accused of only having book knowledge and they do not have direct experience of God by some spiritualists. These spiritualists also claim that books such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are unnecessary to help in that spiritual progress and they have a direct connection without these books. How do we analyze if these statements are true? There are two major points to be analyzed here. The first point is, are scriptures required to understand God? We have to analyze that first. And the second point that we have to analyze is, do devotees really lack any true experience of Bhagavan? Is it that they only have book knowledge? These are the two things we are going to understand in this video. Many spiritualists claim that without reading books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they have attained spiritual realization of God. How can these words be accepted as truth? We must understand that anything that a person says, claims, or do is all based on the knowledge they possess. Therefore, knowledge is the basis of everything. The first step of everything is knowledge, and all actions are preceded by knowledge. From knowledge arises desire, from desire comes action, and from action comes results. If our knowledge is flawed, then our desires and the results and the actions that are preceding that knowledge is also flawed. Therefore, right knowledge produces right actions and produces right results, while wrong knowledge produces wrong action leading to wrong results. The knowledge that we currently possess is ultimately shaped by the experiences that we have gone through in life, and these experiences are shaped through the use of our external senses and the mind, which are inherently material in nature. How can I access spirituality using my material mind and senses, which are inherently limited and incapable of perceiving the transcendental? The goal which I seek is not material but spiritual. Things like bhakti, self realization, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, they are all spiritual in nature. How can I grasp them with my material senses and my mind? Now let's try to understand even more deeply how we are using our mind and senses to gain knowledge. There are two important processes which we rely on, which are known as Pratyaksha Praman and Anuman. Pratyaksha Praman means direct perception, using our senses to perceive the sense object by seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting. This is how we gain knowledge of what we are perceiving directly. The next process is called Anuman. Anuman is the inductive process. It is a process of inference and drawing logical conclusion to what is being perceived and forming a reasonable hypothesis. Direct perception, pratyaksha, is limited because our senses themselves are limited. We cannot perceive anything that lies beyond the range of our perception. Pratyaksha Brahman is also limited to the present. We cannot use pratyaksha to find out what happened in the past or the future, which is why we rely on Anuman inference to increase the range of our knowledge acquiring system. It is the secondary means of acquiring knowledge. Historians rely heavily on Anuman as they have not directly witnessed past events. To understand what truly occurred, they piece together clues from various historical sources such as correspondence, letters, and records, using these to draw a reasoned conclusion about the past. A classic example of Anuman inference can be seen by the relationship between the smoke and the fire. If I have directly observed that smoke always comes from fire, then when I see smoke on a distant hill, I can logically infer that there must be a fire, even if I cannot see the fire directly. But to make this inference, I must have witnessed both fire and smoke together to come to a conclusion that when I see smoke, there is fire. If I have not seen both of these together, then I will not be able to understand that smoke is coming from fire. So this makes Anuman Praman limited as well. In the same way, if I have not directly perceived God with my Pratyaksha Praman, my direct perception of my senses, how can I infer his existence? So if someone claims that they are naturally, organically connecting to God without the use of scriptures, then most likely whatever they are saying is ultimately unreliable and not truthful. This is because śāstra or scriptures is the third and the highest way or the highest process of acquiring knowledge about the absolute truth. It is far superior than the process of pratyaksha or anuman, which are limited by the senses. This third process is called Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means to take the truth from the highest authority. Vedic testimony is perfect and infallible because Vedas are spoken by God Himself. Shabda provides knowledge of realities that lie beyond our senses and beyond the reach of Pratyaksha and Anuma. Shabda is non-different from Shastra and it is received through hearing from authorized sources in the Guru Parampara, the disciplic succession. Through this process, one can understand the absolute truth very easily. Since Krishna is completely spiritual, he cannot be attained by any other means that is devoid of spirituality. Shastra, Shabda Brahman is completely spiritual. It is compatible. It is very compatible with understanding the goal, who is Krishna. The means and the goals are both compatible. Hence, there is direct perception through Shastra of who is God. And we cannot rely on the Anuman and Pratyaksha Praman, which are material processes. These processes cannot give us access and knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example to illustrate this point. If a child wants to know who their father is, the most reliable authority is the mother. It is not practical or necessary to test every male on the planet through direct perception or inference. The child simply has to take the authority of the words of the mother and accept her version of who is the Father. Similarly, to know God, the Supreme Father, we must take shelter of the Vedas, who act like Divine Mother. The Vedas are non-different from Narayana himself, and through them, the Supreme Father Krishna is revealed. The unlimited cannot be known by the limited. The limited can only know the unlimited if the unlimited mercifully reveals himself. And how does the unlimited reveals himself? There is Shastra. Shastra is the revelation of the unlimited Krishna to understand who he is and how to connect to him. Thus, Shastra is not merely book knowledge. It is the essential means to understand the Supreme and how to connect with him. It is the map which guides us to the ultimate destination of attaining the Lord through the three main processes of karma, jnana, and bhakti, with the last one declared as the best by the Lord in the Gita. Therefore, anyone who claims that Shastra is a mere book knowledge and claims that they have realized the Supreme without Shastra can be completely disregarded. This is because they are riding on the chariot of the mind, Manorate Nashati. They are riding on their mental concoctions and imaginations which are completely temporary and unreal. These so-called spiritualists also assume that devotees lack direct perception and self-realization of Bhagavan. They think that we only have bookish knowledge. This, however, is refuted by Lord Krishna himself in the Gita, where he says, Pratyaksha bhagamam dharmyam susukam kartam abhyayam. This knowledge, if you gain, you can have direct perception of Bhagavan. It is the perfection of all religion. It is eternal and it is joyfully performed. By studying Shastra, one gains direct experience of God consciousness and genuine spiritual bliss. The practice of bhakti, when rooted in scripture, is so perfect that its effects can be directly perceived. This transformation is tangible. We see that anyone who sincerely chants the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, even without full understanding, begins to feel transcendental joy and is quickly purified from material contamination. A powerful example of this transformation can be seen in the life of Srila Prabhupada, where he transformed the lives of thousands of drug-addicted hippies into self-realized devotees. Through the practice of Krishna consciousness, they gave up meat-eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling with ease by experiencing a higher taste through Krishna Bhakti. The fleeting pleasure they once found in drugs, illicit sex, and alcohol became insignificant, a mere drop compared to the ocean of joy found in devotion to Krishna. This serves as a living proof that when Shastra is received through the bona fide spiritual master, like Srila Prabhupada, one's life can be transformed. If hippies themselves can give up all these bad habits and sinful activities and surrender unto Krishna, what more can be said by of the average humans like us? what will happen if we study Srila Prabhupada books seriously. However, the most important point to note here is one cannot get direct perception and experience of the Supreme just by flipping the books of scriptures. One need to take shelter of the spiritual master, and under his guidance and mercy only it is possible. Direct realization arises when scriptural knowledge is received through bona fide spiritual master. One will easily misunderstand Shastra because we are relying again on our imperfect mind and senses to come to a conclusion, which is why Krishna said, Tadvidi pranipartena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattva. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. If you want to enjoy milkshake or mango shake, we need to add sugar to the glass. We can't just drop in a sugarcane stick, even though sugar originates from sugarcane. We need to understand the process of extracting sugar from sugarcane. Similarly, we cannot see fire in arani wood or firewood, but we can ignite fire from the wood provided we know the process. We also cannot see ghee directly in milk. It transforms through the process of milk, cream, butter, then ghee. Similarly, God is everywhere. Just like we cannot see ghee in milk, we cannot see fire in firewood, we cannot see sugar in sugarcane. We cannot see God everywhere because we do not know the process of how to see Him. We need to find someone who knows how to take the ghee from the milk, who knows how to take fire from the firewood, who knows how to take sugar from the sugarcane. That is the person who is going to allow us to understand how to see God, and that is the Guru. And how does the Guru enable you to see God? Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my obeisances unto him. Jnana means knowledge. Anjana also means ointment, and Shalaka refers to a small stick. Just like the Ayurvedic takes a small stick and takes the medicine, the ointment, and pierces the eyes. She puts the medicines around the eyes to cure the eyes and opens the eyes, which is disease. Similarly, the Guru is curing the disease of ignorance. We cannot see who am I, who is God, what is my purpose of life. We are covered by this ignorance, we are blinded by this ignorance. So he's taking the Jnana Anjana, the ointment of knowledge, with the Shalaka. He is piercing the eyes and giving us vision, spiritual vision, to see who is Bhagavan, who is God, who is Krishna. This process is called śāstra chakshu. In this case, the ointment itself that is using is Shastra. With the power of Shastra, our eyes can see the Lord with the mercy of the Guru. The Guru reveals the spiritual reality that lies beyond the reach of our material minds and senses. Only when we view everything through the lens of Shastra do we begin to have practical experience of Krishna and move towards self-realization. This transformative effect was seen the most in Arjuna. What he was before hearing the Gita and what he was after hearing the Gita from the Supreme Guru Krishna are profoundly different. So what are you waiting for? If you want to connect to Krishna, you want to come back home, back to Godhead, please start studying Srila Prabhupada books from today. Hare Krishna.